Leah Smith, you've written a piece on concussions using your experiences and I guess others as after doing research, but give us a sense of what it was like putting together the piece that actually made a top 10 award for concussions.
Well, at first, beginning to write the piece, I obviously was interested in writing about concussions, but never thought it would publish in a magazine. I didn't think it would get past the eyes of my professor, but I was still very interested in the topic. And as I began doing more and more research and finding out like the intricacies of concussion, I became more interested, which allowed me to add a lot of depth to my essay and create a unique solution for concussions. So I would say that definitely as I got more into the research, I became more and more interested in concussions and create that final product.
When you decided to write the piece, having been through the experience of concussions, how did that reflect in the writing, in you putting it together?
Well, definitely having the personal experience and opinion on concussions definitely helped. I mean, I tried to write it in a more academic point of view, but definitely I know that my opinion and my experience definitely shed light on it, but I think that added depth to the essay and allowed me to find more information on concussions because I was interested in it and I had that personal experience. So I was able to write from a personal standpoint with regards to like symptoms, how players might react to concussions, which is all highlighted in the essay.
How does concussions affect people's everyday life outside of sports?
It definitely takes a mental toll on a person. On my third concussion, I was bedridden for about a week and a half where I was home the entire day, had my lights turned off, wasn't allowed to really communicate, be on my phone or be on my computer. So that definitely can cause at least slight depression. With some people, it could cause more effects, but then later it can impact your balance, your memory, having chronic headaches, which is something I suffered from and was lucky enough to actually be able to get treatment on it and do therapy on it through NYU Langone facilities. They actually specialize in rehabilitation with concussions. So I was lucky enough to have that, but a lot of people aren't able to have those facilities. And so I think doing the basic things is very important, such as rest and being away from your phone and computer, because that could really have a damper on your long-term health.
You're not just a person that would write to complain about an issue, but you've offered some solutions.
So the main solution that I offered was creating headgear for soccer players using the intuition and information from Viconic, which is actually a manufacturer in cars who prevent such injuries with cars and car crashes. So like they have the leading technology in that field. So I suggested instead of a sports company trying to develop this headgear, which they already have a deeper insight into the actual science behind the headgear using an outside source that could create better headgear that could actually prevent or at least lessen the likeliness of getting concussions. And then eventually implementing that into the rules of the game, similar to how they already implement players having to wear like shin guards and certain cleats, etc.
Now, not every organization that has a football program has a medical person on the sideline that could diagnose someone with concussions. But what are some of the symptoms during your studies? What are some of the symptoms that people can see in their young one or anyone following a collision that they need to address that they could possibly have a concussion?
The main one definitely, which I think most people should know at least, is loss of consciousness. That's a simple one. That one, you need to go to the hospital immediately to just check that everything is okay. But interestingly enough, my 3 concussions, I never lost consciousness. So the main things that they looked for were dizziness, headache, blurred vision, nauseousness, vomiting, dilated pupils, fatigue. Those are the ones that I can think of right now. But also, a lot of the symptoms don't kick in immediately. A lot of them could actually happen a day or two after receiving a concussion. So it's always important to pay attention to a child a few days after getting a blow to the head, because they could feel okay right after the incident, but it doesn't necessarily mean that they don't have a concussion.
Audio Jungle.